welcome back to my channel for another video. I recently did a poll on my YouTube page and asked you guys what you wanted to see, and a lot of you said you wanted to see an Instant Pot video, and I've actually been thinking about starting an Instant Pot series for quite a while. I've had my Instant Pot for well over 6 months and I love it. I do everything in it. So in this video, we're just gonna talk about some Instant Pot basics, and I'm kind of just gonna walk you guys through like a sanitation cycle. So as soon as you open it out of the box, it's good to like run a sanitation cycle, and all that is running like a 5-minute pressure cook with some water in there, and that just like steams and heats it up and sanitizes the whole thing. So to start, obviously you're going to want to make sure you have all the little packaging out of it. Take all the pieces out. I know that there was lots of little wrappers and things in there, so just make sure all of that is out, and then you can go ahead and plug it in on your counter. And to open the lid, you twist it and then you can pull it up, and I love that it sings a little song every time you open and close it. I just think that's super cute. Something I learned is that the lid fits right into the side like that, so when you're doing stuff in there, you don't have to set your lid on the counter, which I think is really nice, and then it kind of like drains the steam. So you have your pot in here. This is an 8-quart Instant Pot. When we were buying an Instant Pot, this one was on a really good sale, and so we decided to just go for it. And I actually love having the biggest one. I think it's super handy because if you're cooking something and it starts bubbling too close to the top, it can get into the sealing valve in the top of the lid, and when that gets dirty, that's a lot harder to clean. So just place that right in there. You don't want to forget that part. And then I'm just going to put a cup of water into the Instant Pot. And then to sanitize it, we're just going to go over to pressure cook, depending on what model you have. It's like manual or pressure cook, just so you can pick your time manually. So we're going to go ahead and press pressure cook, and you have the option between high pressure and low pressure, and the pressure level will take it back and forth between either. So we're going to pick high pressure. This less, normal, or more area on your Instant Pot is telling you how long. So I'm going to go ahead and set it for 5 minutes, and we'll make sure the valve at the top is on sealing. We want it to seal tight so the pressure can build inside and the steam and everything, and it will really like sanitize the inside of your machine. When you're hitting pressure cook, you can go back and forth between the less, normal, and more, and it stores 3 different times in there for you, which I think is really nice. My less is usually between 0 and 5 minutes because I'll cook anything from broccoli, which takes 0 minutes, to like my sanitation, which takes 5 minutes, and then I also cook things that take an hour, like pumpkin bread or lasagna. And so it's nice to not have to like hit manually all the way up to 60 from 0, and so it will store to 3 different times. And every time you adjust it, like if I'm on more and I go up to 55 minutes, the next time I turn it on, the more setting will be on 55 minutes, if that makes sense. So if you have some like things you're cooking all the time, it will remember those cook times on those different settings. So I think that's a really nice feature. For the most part, I haven't used all of these other buttons. I really like the just pressure cook manual time setting, and then I have a little notebook that I keep of all of the different cook times for the different things. So I haven't played around with those very much because I can cook anything with just the manual time setting, and then I feel like I have a better understanding of exactly what's going on, and I can set it to the time I want. And so if you just look up on like Pinterest or just Google it, you can find cook times for pretty much anything you want to cook in here. And there are so many great recipes on Pinterest. I'm going to start sharing some of my favorites with you, so make sure and subscribe to my channel. After you set the cook time, it will show on the screen right here. Right now it just says on. And so right now it is heating up and getting up to pressure. And as soon as it is up to pressure, the pressure that needs to be to cook your food or whatever you're cooking, then the timer will start. So broccoli, I mentioned, takes 0 minutes. For example, if you set the timer to 0, it's not actually going to be 0 minutes before the broccoli is done, but it takes, you know, like 5 or so minutes to get up to pressure. And then for broccoli, which takes 0 minutes to actually cook, just getting up to pressure will cook it to the point where it's done. And so then it will beep and tell you that it's ready. For this, as soon as it gets up to pressure, then the 5-minute timer will start, and it will count down from 5 minutes. And yeah, I think that's just important to remember, so you don't look at a recipe and be like, okay, it's going to take 60 minutes in the pot, but you have to just remember to add like 5 to 10 minutes for it to get up to pressure, and then depending on how you release the pressure, you'll need a little extra time for that as well. So I can hear it, it's getting close to being pressurized. You'll want to look at your Instant Pot's manual because I've seen it a couple of different ways. There's this little button by the pressure valve that tells you when it's pressurized. On mine, when it's up to pressure, the little red button will actually pop up and stick out above the surface, and I know right now it just sealed and it is pressurized, and I can tell because the little red button is popped. On a 6-quart model that I saw once, the button actually started really low and it just became kind of flush with the top of it when it was pressurized instead of popping above it. Mine kind of starts level and pops up. When it gets all the way up to pressure, it will beep and let you know that the timer is starting. So it beeped just shortly after my little button rose that told me it was pressurized. Sometimes just one kind of issue that I'll have is if the pressure valve is a little bit crooked, some steam will start leaking out the top, and when that happens, it was just happening while I was grabbing Emily from her nap. You can just see if I bump it, you can see some steam come out. You want to be careful doing that. But if it's like, seems like it's leaking, you can usually just tap that with a towel really carefully. You don't want to like burn your hand on the steam that comes out of it, but I can usually straighten it a little bit and then it will plug it and seal it back up. So just a little tip if that happens when you're using your Instant Pot. If you are able, it's nice to have the Instant Pot sitting somewhere that's not directly under a cabinet. So if you have some kind of island that you can use, that is the best possible option. But if not, I'll show you how to kind of block the steam so it doesn't damage your cabinet. If you don't have an island, you just keep it like scooted out on the counter so that when you do release the pressure, it's telling me it's done now. When you do release the pressure, it's not going directly under your cabinet. After the timer goes off, there's 2 ways to release the pressure inside. You don't want to just open it because right now it's super pressurized inside, and so we have to release that pressure before we can open it. One of the ways is to just let it naturally release, and a lot of recipes will call for this. If it says to naturally release or NR, it'll sometimes abbreviate. You can just hit cancel, and then you just let it sit there until it naturally releases on its own, and the pressure valve will show you as soon as the little button on top is all the way down, then it's safe to open it. And I usually, if everything's quiet, I can hear the little click of the button finally falling. And that can take anywhere from like 10 up to like 20 or even more than that minutes, depending on what you're cooking and how long it was pressurized and everything like that. And so there's not an exact time for how long that will take, but it can take quite a while. So you have to factor that into like your recipe cook time for like getting dinner on the table. The other option, which I definitely prefer just because I'm not very patient, and a lot of recipes will call for this, is that you just open the pressure valve and it will release the steam out the top. When I do this, I make sure that nobody is around the area. I make sure Emily stands back. I have her on a stool behind me right here, and I use a towel to throw over the whole thing. As fast as I can, I just like swipe that pressure valve. So the majority of the steam seems like it is released, but the button is still popped, so I still need to wait. And it just went down. I don't know if you could hear the little click on the camera while I was talking, but it just went down. So as soon as the button is all the way down, you can go ahead and open it. There's still be a lot of steam that comes out, so you want to watch out, but there we go, pop that right there. And this is where it will kind of drain down the side and into, there's kind of a ring around the outside here that will catch the excess condensation that will like drip down. So after that, you can go ahead and just dump the water out, and your Instant Pot is totally sanitized. Every now and then, if I really want to make sure it's good and clean, I will put a little bit of vinegar in there with the water and run it for 5 minutes, and then I do it again with just water in it to kind of get the vinegar smell out of it. But then I know like it's really good and clean. I like to do that before I make yogurt. You want to make sure there's no bacteria or anything weird going on when you're making yogurt. So I just feel good if it's like really good and clean at that point. So that is pretty much it on how to use an Instant Pot. Please let me know if you have any more questions. I do my best to answer every comment and every question I get on my videos, so don't be shy. Go ahead and ask. I would love to address any questions that you still have. Like I said, I love the Instant Pot so much. When I first got it, I actually wanted to jumpstart my learning process of like how to cook in it, and so I challenged myself to 1 month without my oven and my stove so I could just force myself to learn how to cook everything in the Instant Pot. So I'm not kidding, I use it pretty much every day. I cook everything in here, and I'm really excited to share all of it with you guys. But that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel to see more videos, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys!